I am Debaditya Roy, and today I am going to talk about our paper on action anticipation using latent goal learning. All complex human activities like cooking are dictated by a goal. So, knowing the goal can help us in understanding what the next action is going to be. For example, here, the crack egg action can be followed by the spoon flour action if you're making a pancake, or the stir egg action if you're making scrambled eggs. The reason we use latent goal representation is so that we can represent different types of goals, like explicit goals, where we know the visual representation at the end of the sequence, or implicit goals, like when a person is hungry and can take different actions in order to satisfy that goal. So, the latent goal properties which we exploit to calculate the representation of latent goals are goal closeness, where an anticipated action should be closer to the latent goal than the observed action. This is well understood in a sequence of actions where the next succeeding action should always take us closer to the goal than the preceding action. The next property is goal consistency. Latent goals should be consistent between the observed and the anticipated action, as the final goal is same for all the actions in the sequence. For our mechanism of using latent goals to generate the next action, we use our observed visual feature here in purple and generate the latent goal using a stacked RNN. The stacked RNN is used so that each layer in the stacked RNN can represent an intermediate action. Now, using the latent goal in purple and the observed visual feature again in purple, we generate multiple next action candidates. In order to understand which next action candidate is most suitable, we generate a next visual feature for each of those candidates, and using those visual features, we generate a new latent goal here given at the bottom in blue. Now we calculate whether the new latent goal is consistent with the original latent goal in purple, and the next visual feature in blue on the top is close to the purple latent goal as compared to the observed visual feature. The candidate which best satisfies these two properties is chosen as the anticipated action. We evaluate our method on three different data sets of increasing difficulty: 50 salads, breakfast, and epic kitchens. We can see that we get very good results for 50 salads, which is a single goal, which follows from our assumption that a latent goal representation is able to uh, represent the final goal of the sequence correctly. We can see in the examples on the right that without latent goal, we are not able to predict the next action correctly and there is ambiguity, whereas with the latent goal, we are able to predict the action correctly. For epic kitchens, we get very good results for noun anticipation. We think that because there are many more nouns compared to the verbs, so having a latent goal representation limits the number of next objects which are available for a particular current object. And this helps in increasing the probability of predicting the correct noun. We see that using closeness and consistency laws improves the performance across both breakfast and 50 salads dataset. Also, the best stacked RNN configuration is the one which covers the number of actions in the sequence.
We can see that goals being consistent helps us in anticipating the next actions correctly. This shows the usefulness of our goal consistency criterion when we develop a latent goal representation.
We would like to thank National Research Foundation Singapore under its AISG program for supporting us in this project.